So welcome, Manar. Welcome to the PM Learning series. And this is our inaugural, our first version of this series. So I'm delighted that you could join us for this session. So for those listening who haven't met me, my name's James Bawtree, and I'm founder and CEO of PMLogic. PMLogic is a project management company. We're also a certified B Corp, and this is part of the value that we'd like to give back to the community in sharing insights, in this case from Manar. So Manar, if you'd like to introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, thanks, James. Thanks for having me in this series, and I'm happy to be here always and talk to you on project management. That's a topic we always talk about. So yeah, my name is Manar Wanli. I'm an EPMO Specialist for capital infrastructure works. Currently, I'm working with V-Line, and I have more than 24 years of experience in construction and project management. Yeah, I've worked with multiple organizations before, government and non-government, consultancy like PwC, overseas and in Australia.
Fantastic, thank you, Manar. Thanks. I know that you're a CPPE, and again, for those listening, what CPPE stands for is Certified Practicing Portfolio Executive, and it's part of the Australian Institute of Project Management Registered Project Management Certification process. And I know there are many CPPEs as well, so I'm really keen to hear from you, Manar, as to what motivated you most to becoming a CPPE.
Yeah, well, that's a great question. Mainly, my motivation was driven by the goal to formally validate my career progression to the highest level as much as possible. You know, as I said, I have more than 20 years of experience in project management. The last 6 years were dedicated for mostly portfolio, EPMOs, especially with, as I said, PwC and Moonee Valley City Council. And given that I'm new to Australia, I thought I was looking around. What's the best way I can validate this experience in Australia? And I didn't want the normal, multiple choice question exam that says yes, no, and then I'm through it. So when I looked around, I saw the AIPM has this CPPE, which is more of an evidence-based exam. It goes through all my experience, background. It's been like 6 months to prove that I have done what I have done through a lot of questions. And actually, they are really, some of them were really challenging questions. I have to prove how I know portfolio management. So I thought that's really, this is what I'm looking at. AIPM is a reputable organization, and this looks like the certificate I'm looking at. And it's when I went through it, the experience, I was really confident. Yes, after that, whoever have this CPPE in there as a certification, they have really gone through a thorough, let's say, evidence that they have this experience. So it gave me like some deep appreciation for the standard it presents. It's not just, as I said, it's not a certificate, it's a benchmark. So when I see now an AIPM certification like this in someone's profile, I'm confident their skills are really genuine and tested.
Yeah, wonderful. Thanks, Manar. And certainly from my experience, and I also got my CPP a few years ago, and the rigor to get through the process was definitely pretty challenging to get sufficient evidence. And I do agree, as a trainer, and I've been a project management trainer for over 20 years, there's a big difference between learning something such as doing a diploma or a degree, master's in project management, and undertaking this certification, because it's validating the competency as opposed to learning how to manage projects. So Manar, you mentioned that you've got 20 plus years of experience, and I'm really keen to hear from you around what are the biggest challenges or challenge you face in managing complex programs and portfolios ultimately?
Well, challenges, they are everywhere, you know. But thinking about some of the most the important ones, I think the biggest challenge is ensuring public funds are invested in the most effective way by balancing, the valid needs of the community against the limited budget. So if I may give an example of my previous work with Muni Valley City Council, when we went through our annual planning process for the future years. So the challenge is there are so many good projects. All the departments will come to us, those are the projects, and they are really good projects. Because they, it's from their expertise. They know what the public needs, what's required for the council. But we have limited taxpayer funds. So what shall we do? We need some kind of objective, transparent way to decide and to be, to take responsible choices. And we, as an EPMO, we are the Enterprise Project Management Office. We don't want to be looked at as like we are the gatekeeper. We stop projects because for some reason, we wanted to be partners with those departments. So in a way that we can empower them to select the right projects that goes into the future year. So in order to do that, I had to do some lessons learned. I had some workshop with them, one-to-one meetings, in order to somehow give them the power to know how we are selecting this, why we are selecting those projects, even to coach them, on how to build a proper, a strong business case. So in this business case, they have to present the project and why it presents a good idea, what it gives to the community. And we had some kind of scoring criteria with different weights, which I explained to everybody. And as I said, with this collaboration and transparency with these teams, I really reached to a place where everybody knows what we are doing and why we are doing it. The result was really the final outcome. This capital works, had really good support from everybody. We had confidence that we were making the best possible investment decision for the community. So yeah, the key lessons for me here is that public service environment, like in whether it's the Muni Valley, the council, or here in V-Line, portfolio manager or the specialist is to be a champion of transparency. A portfolio specialist job is to create a trust, between departments and us and the higher management, to have the process be collectively decided. It's not one man decision on one person or one or two, a group of people. It's everybody's decision. This is the best way to use use of the community fund to deliver the greatest value for those projects.
Yeah, wonderful. Thanks, Manar. And we, PMLogic, has also got experience working with councils as well. We ran project managed the regional local road repair program, which was a $500 million investment across 128 councils here in New South Wales. And we managed the metro, so 32 councils in total. And I 100% agree, collaboration was a big element. And we actually ran monthly workshops where we would have council representatives come in and share ideas, share innovative practices, because they're all trying to solve the same problem, which was poor quality roads. And there's scarce resources. There's not enough people to fix the roads. There's not enough bitumen. So they ended up collaborating with each other, sharing with each other ideas, as well as lessons learned. And so I'm keen to hear from you around lessons learned that you've learned in your experience, Manar.
Yes, well, yeah, lessons learned is really important, because this helps us to improve and build on what we have done, on the experience. That's why the experience is important. There are so many lessons learned. Let's say one really significant one, I mean, a very impactful lesson came during my time at PwC. So we were establishing the EPMO for the Saudi National Housing Company. Originally, we were working with them to establish a PMO within a department. So the PMO deals with projects, start and there's a scope, timeline, whatever. And that's the usual role of a PMO. But then we were contracted to establish an EPMO within the organization, which has more than 13 departments. One of them where I was working before, so I was nominated to be a portfolio manager with the EPMO. So the bringing those departments together, I mean, all of them, yes, they were working their best to achieve the goals, the strategic goal, the mission, or the vision which the organization had, but they were somehow sometimes there will be some overlaps, some misalignment. The communication between the department was not set as it is expected to deliver the best outcome of all of them collectively together. So facilitating an enterprise alignment, we had to do workshop with those department heads and even their nominated coordinators. We have to connect them, show them the full picture, prioritize, what has to be prioritized within their project, see where a project starts and then continue in the next department and what happens next, So looking at the full picture, everybody realized that, maybe we should work a little bit differently. And even it was really an exciting experience for me, looking at the full picture. And when everybody started working together, it took us some time, more than a couple, I think 2 or 3 months to reach, start to have harmony together. And that was really exciting. And even one of the requirements was to have a kind of dashboard that showed everybody together, everybody's work, and how a project moved from one department to the next one, and how it filled, how it each, let's say, project within this life cycle was contributing to the full strategic view of the organization. So, it's the EPMO perspective, it's focusing on the holistic alignment. It's not looking at just the project itself, start and end and scope, and I'm done, thank you very much, I'm going. Yeah, that was really important lessons learned for me. It shifts the whole vision for me from being project managing into program and portfolio managing. Yeah,
I 100% agree with that sentiment, Manar. In my experience, we delivered actually a deliver methodology, which we had a runners-up award at the recent AIPM national conference, and so finalist for the 2025. And in it, we've got 5 core principles. The first one is purpose, which is your alignment to vision. It's the why are you doing this? The second is the people, to your point, and that Tuckman framework, getting them through the storming, forming, norming, performing approach. That, for me, often organizations don't spend enough time, invest enough time in that, and they expect people to perform from day one. And obviously, you don't know each other. It's very difficult to do that. And then the skills, the practices, and that's where role descriptions, etc., we've found come in as well. Then the platform, the technology, which I'm keen to ask you about. And then the final element is the metrics and making sure you're measuring the Peter Drucker. You can't manage what you don't measure. And so making sure that the right metrics, you're measuring the right things ultimately. And so all of this ended up creating or providing insights into this deliver framework. And in fact, the L in deliver is lessons learned, which was how we've included it as part of the framework rather than something we often see on the side. So it's great to hear the lessons that you've shared. So drilling down onto that that technology. So we've talked about purpose, we talked about people. So what about the technology? How do tools and approaches help to support your portfolio management effectiveness?
Well, I am a tech fan actually, so I love using technology to improve how we do business. To be honest, I was always I thought previously that technology, whenever you use technology, things will become better. But it's not like a straightforward thing. It's not a push of a button. We should have like proper processes and procedures in place. You should have a proper data, well classified in a way that we can use the tool. Tools are really useful to optimize the work, to help us achieve and have the full picture of the project and the portfolio, the program, how projects are dependent on each other. To have everything in one place, that's amazing. That's a blessing. I mean, I remember before in one of the organizations, before implementing the tool, it took us more days, sometimes days to just gather one report about a project. Then after implementing the tool, it's on a click of a button. You just open and see everything is there. If you want to know what's going on within the project, how far is it? Is it on time, financially, scope, all of that. So it really improved the efficiency of the team. It also improved their project management practices as well, because I was responsible for implementing that project management tool. So I embedded all the project management framework in the tool in a way that when project managers are dealing with this, are using this tool, they know that what's the project cycle. If there is a change, okay, there is a process for the change. If there is, reporting will be just like in a template for them. They know what needs to be added in that report. So it makes everybody's life easier. But it couldn't happen if there was no proper process in place, if there was no data to collect from or to integrate with maybe some other systems. Like in our case, we integrated with the financial system over there. So yeah, I feel like a tool is really important to have, but it has to be implemented properly. Someone who has the knowledge of project management has to be there on top of it and knows the needs and the systems within the organization. This will be like, this is the perfect implementation of any tool.
Yeah, great. Thank you. And that's certainly our experience as well, that we often see tools out there developed by people with good software knowledge, but not project management knowledge. So it's, and they've got all the marketing, etc. And so it just, when you get into, not for simple projects, it works, but when you get more complicated and complex, I find there's quite a few shortfalls, which ended up actually us driving and developing our own tool called SIP, the Strategy Implementation Platform, because there just wasn't something in the market that actually aligned strategic objectives down to projects and work packages ultimately. And so for me, that's, and you're right, it was the challenge we saw was on adopting the tool. It was actually changing culture, because people were used to not having to report accurately. If there was emerging risks or issues, they wouldn't share them until they needed to share them. Whereas with a tool, it was business rules. And so it was, much more black and white.
Yep.
And so I found that actually the reporting was a lot more effective. And so the trends that we saw was actually that accuracy, which then built up the trust in the information. And it's in, garbage out. So if you don't have accurate data, people are not going to believe it. So for me, that was a key cultural change. So on trends, where do you see emerging trends in portfolio management over the next, short to medium term?
That's an interesting question. So looking ahead, I see a couple of major trends really reshaping the portfolio management. So both globally and over here in Australia, of course. So I think I can see there is more focus on strategic and value realization. So it's beyond just on time, on budget, to quality. You have to prove that the project or the portfolio is delivering the benefits which was intended to. So when it's not just the scope you're fulfilling. There are benefits that goes beyond that and takes more time to be realized. It's not once the project is completed, we are done. It could take 6 months or a year or even multiple years, especially in public entities in Australia, for infrastructure. It takes years to be realized that, this is why we have spent all of this budget and all the resources to achieve the community outcome or the business objectives. That's one thing I feel we are shifting toward this as an EPMO. A second trend, I can see much stronger reliance on data analytics and predictive tools. So historically, we used to have whatever is being submitted as a report for what has been done. We have the schedule, what's expected next in the next week or two, that's the usual tracking. But now we are having more like data evidence-based analytics, forward-looking, forecasting, predicting risks, having more what-if scenarios. The use of AI is really coming in. It's entering everywhere. So it's helping with so many places. But still, I mean, AI is a different topic. It's a big topic we can talk about.
It's probably worth touching and continuing on the AI because, I mean, every conference I go to, every meeting, we run the PM mixes, which is every other month we get people together to talk about certain topics. And it seems that the conversation just moves into AI every single time. Doesn't matter. It's project management related, but it always goes into AI.
Yeah.
So what are your views on AI? I mean, you've mentioned, obviously, it improves, you've got data and it improves that ability to interrogate, particularly big data.
But
right. What else? How else can AI help project management or portfolio optimization?
Well, I'm really optimistic about the potential for AI and digital tools to optimize the portfolio management. We are seeing early adoption now of those applications, like especially in construction. Construction it's usually slow paced. It doesn't evolve fast. But now I'm starting to see AI getting into everywhere. So I think there are, let's say, using AI really promises, give good promises to people. They can really make things easier. So it can optimize workloads. It can give you deeper insights from the data you have. It can predict what could happen in the future. So using an AI to analyze portfolio data for predictive insights, I feel that's the future. even intelligent, automation. So streamline complex tasks and processes, scenario planning. Yeah, all of that could be done and with AI, but there are many challenges. It's not as easy as it said, as we are saying it like now. Yeah, you can do it. No, it's not like that. There is the data, foundation. You have to have a proper data in place, clean data, structured one, in order to have proper outcome. Otherwise, as you said, it could be garbage in, garbage out. So that's one thing. You have to have, as I just said in the PPM tool, you have to have proper processes and procedures, proper framework. And later on, once we have all of that, then there is the change which we have to apply to people and the way we work. There is, to manage the change, that's another factor which has to be taken into consideration.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I think, the immediate practical application or quick wins could be focused on project team enablement. So using AI as co-pilot to help teams quickly access information like policies, procedures, or relevant lessons learned from the past. Because that's what's AI mostly. It was started like, a language model.
Yes.
So it can read everything, all the documentation. So those can save time a lot for the team. And especially like in our case as EPMO specialist or partners, most of the time you will be helping project managers on the processes and procedures. So yeah, I think that could be a quick win. It doesn't require a lot of effort, but it is a long journey, to have everything automated, to get AI into all aspects, to be in planning, what if scenarios, strategic thinking and alignment. Yeah, there is a potential, but it is a long journey.
100% agree. And certainly that's what I'm seeing, that when you look at the usage of AI, the analogy we recently wrote in a blog was, it's like having a Ferrari in your garage, jumping in it and, starting the engine and listening to it. And if, like me, you appreciate cars, you get a lot of enjoyment out of it, a lot of value. Yep. But you never drive your car out of the garage. So that's what AI, it's got so much more potential that then we're all using it. And then that we're aware of as well. And I see there's great opportunity moving forwards to, once you get that data set valid and correct, helping with risk management and scheduling and all of those reporting, those things that you mentioned. So when you think about that, Manar, obviously there's going to free up people. And so what I'm hearing and seeing is soft skills, so emotional quotients, they're going to be more and more relevant to portfolio, program, project change, the business transformation space. So thinking about soft skills, what do you think are the most critical to lead high performing teams? So what soft skills do you think are most critical?
Communication. That's I feel, that's really, for me, it's a critical soft skill is the one that underpins almost everything else in leading high performing teams. It's really effective communication. It is a skill that requires more conscious effort than ever in our increasingly digital and sometimes disconnected way or work environment. It really, you need to have a really good performing team. You have to have clear, let's say, goals, clear instructions of, and this all comes through communication, clear purpose of why we are doing this and how we are doing it. Active listening is also part of communication. So that's really important to have the skill. Not everyone, all of us, we listen, but active listening, that's really important to understand what the other person is saying and come back with questions and discussing the ideas and giving constructive feedback. So that also improves the relation between the team. So because of the modern way of working and the hybrid way of working, we are having less interactions. That's where most of our meetings will have 1 or 2 persons attending virtually. So we will have to have more efforts to communicate what we want to say to everybody, what we need, what our point of view. That's why I think, improving the way we communicate is really important. There are other soft skills like empathy, which is also part of communication. So empathy and which will lead, both communication and empathy will lead into the trust. If once there is a trust between the team, then a lot of barriers will be down, and the communication will be both ways, discussing ideas, improving lessons learned, criticizing. It will be constructive criticizing. It's not just for the sake of criticizing or just to point fingers. So while communication is a core, I see empathy and the ability to build trust as essential partner that makes truly effective communication possible, especially in today's complex work environment.
Yeah, wonderful. Thanks, Manar. And definitely just interpreting some of what you're saying, I badge some of that as critical thinking as well, the ability to question. And I know, or we know, that AI often will hallucinate, so it will create information.
Yes.
It doesn't say I don't know, it just creates something and then it thinks that what it's actually specified is true. And so for me, that's where the critical thinking is important, because you've got to be able to analyze the data and not 100% trust. I like to say trust but check, or trust but verify. I've also heard it referred to. And I think a risk as human beings is that we over rely on AI to do the thinking for us. And they've done I've seen some recent research where they have candidates, 2 separate people. One person's problem solving and they've got a brain scan going, and you can see their brain activity. It's all lit up. And the other person's using an AI tool, and their brain's very quiet. So they're not using their brain, and the brain's a muscle. So if you don't use it, you lose it ultimately. So
exactly,
for me, we've got to, as a human species, we've got to be quite careful around the dominance of AI and still obviously having those relevance. And so when you think about that, what message would you say to the project management community around, how can they adopt AI, think about the future, adopt technology, go from that forming, storming, norming, performing process as quickly as possible? What's your key messages out there to the community?
Well, the AI, just like any other tool, we have to use it in a wise way, effectively. I'm using AI every now and then whenever I feel it's tempting. You want to use it every now for everything, but as you said, it limits your critical thinking. So it's important to learn the basics, the fundamentals of, let's say in our case of project management, portfolio management. Always criticize what the information you're looking at. Make sure that there are always different ways, and if you discuss it with the AI will agree with you. Say yes, you're right. and sometimes it will apologize, say sorry, I didn't think about it. You are right, we can do it this way. So there is always another way, there is always a better way. I always challenge AI. I don't take whatever it gives me immediately. That's why it's important to learn the fundamentals as project managers or portfolio managers. Learn from the experience, from the lessons learned from others. Apply this within our work and use all those tools to improve our efficiency. We don't. If we rely on it, as you said, one day they will take. It will not take our place, but it's diminishing our effectiveness.
100% agree.
Yeah.
And I think I like to talk about that as collective intelligence. So as human beings, we actually say no. So, and you're right with AI, it will always say yes, it will always agree. with you.
Yeah.
And so for me, that critical thinking is important because as a human being, we need to hear no, because sometimes you're not correct. And so I think that's one of the values that we can provide, and having communities like the project management community, being this session is part of that, sharing information is the way that PMLogic anyway is trying to have that collective intelligence around how can we help each other be more effective in our project management journeys. So Manar, thank you very much for your time today. It's been a pleasure to chat with you, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me.
My pleasure. Just stop recording.